Welcome back to the weekend wrap. No production, just my thoughts. As always, please like and subscribe, share with a friend, a colleague, a relative, an associate, an enemy, any and all in between. It's appreciated. Now, I'm going to keep this one pretty brief. And I know I say that a lot and then I end up talking for like 20, 30 minutes, 40 minutes. But this one will be pretty brief because I didn't really focus a lot on the boxing that was on this weekend. If I'm honest, I paid a lot more attention to the Elimination Chamber premium live event that was taking place in Toronto, Canada. So shout out to everyone that jumped on the watch along, super chats and all that other stuff. I won't lie, I was flagging by the end of it. That last chamber match was sapping the energy. Not that it wasn't good, but I was tired. Didn't have a rest throughout the day. You know how it goes. But as soon as the chamber ended, I perked up quite a lot. Yeah, it was enjoyable. I kind of figured out it would play out that way. It started the way I thought it would start, and it ended the way I thought it would end once my pick for the chamber was no longer in effect. But yeah, that being aside, I guess, look, let's start from the end and then kind of work our way back. I don't usually do it this way, but why not? So I woke up this morning. I found a stream that was going for the Davis and Roach fight, and I ended up falling asleep before it even started. But I found one this morning to click on to watch. So I didn't even watch the event. I just kind of went straight to the main. I didn't go all the way through it. I probably from about round 6, round 7 onwards. And ultimately it went the distance. So we'll talk about the things that happened in a moment, but I predicted in my predictions league, I didn't do any basis picks this week, but I predicted it would go the distance and Tank would win via a unanimous decision. That was my prediction of the fight. And, you know, it went the distance. So I got that part right. And I guess if you want to go by how the scorecards were, only one person was given a favorable scorecard, which was Tank Davis. So in that sense, I kind of had that part. But it was ended up being a draw. Now, again, I haven't watched it all the way through. I haven't scored it. So I'm not going to say whether it was a draw, whether Roach should have won, whether Tank should have won. What I do want to comment on, though, is the fact that Tank Davis takes a knee in the 9th round and it's not called a knockdown. He got hit with a shot beforehand, backs up, gets hit with another shot, which it flicks. So it doesn't catch him, but it flicks him. He turns to the side, takes a knee, and then runs off to the corner. And at this point, the ref's looking like it looks like they start to pick up the count, and then he's all confused and discombobulated. Now Steve Willis, who I like Steve Willis as a referee. I think he's a fun character, etc., etc. But then all of a sudden, to the end, he's like talking to Tank in the corner. I mean, look, that looked like a knockdown. You can't be doing that. And he goes, "Oh, my bad, my bad." And I'm like, "Huh? No, not your bad. Take a point off." Like, ultimately, the guy's taken a knee. He wasn't pushed down. He wasn't leaned on to take the knee. Like he's taken a knee voluntarily after being hit with a flash shot, as that's what it looks like in real time. And yeah, that's just allowed to sort of happen. And okay, he goes to tries to turn it up in the last or whatever. And then I think 2 of the judges ended up giving Lamont Roach, I think, the 12th round, and 1 gave it to Tank. And then ultimately, him getting that 12th round is what made it a draw on their scorecards. Now, usually people will say, look, if you get a draw as the away fighter, that usually means that you won the fight. That's the consensus. So again, I can't really comment too much, but I've seen a whole bunch of people online saying that Roach won the fight. Maybe before Fight Talk Live later, I might watch the entire thing and score it. I doubt I will, though, because again, I had no interest in the card itself. I haven't seen the rest of the fights, but I got all of the winners right. I did the guy who Jared Hurd I can't remember his name, but I did predict that he would beat Jared Hurd. I predicted that Gary Antoine Russell would beat Rayo Valenzuela. I can't even remember what else was on that card. But either way, it's all on the. I looked at box rec, and yeah, basically all my picks kind of came in. The methods weren't all correct, but they all came in anyway. Further down, there was a Subriel Matias against what's his name, Goyas, for one in the 140 division coming back. I predicted Matias would win that via 6th round KO, and I think he actually ended up getting pulled out in the 8th round instead. So not too far off, but yeah, I haven't watched that event either. Like, I was kind of just sort of skipping through. My attention, it was one of those late nights where my attention hasn't really been on everything. So maybe I would apologize to anyone who wanted the proper in-depth, deep breakdowns and whatnot. But yeah, it was just one of those weeks. I kind of just decided to take it easy, focus on a few other things. But I also saw the Jaron and Rocky Hernandez fight. And Hernandez, I predicted, would win unanimous decision, and that is what took place. So yeah, I mean, I was, pretty much I was batting a decent average over this week. But now let's kind of get away from all of that, and let's talk about what happened on these shows in the UK. First off, there was a Frank Warren card. It was Garner versus Jimenez. I didn't see it. I didn't remember that card was even taking place, I think, until it was either Wednesday or Thursday. And it's only then yesterday, on Friday, when they announced that Joe Joyce is being taken out of his fight with, I think it was Patrick Corte, because obviously he's got the Dillian White fight in April, but this fight was already there unsigned. So the whole thing was a bit of a mess, but you can clearly see now that Queensbury, maybe it's Queensbury and TNT Sports, but those two, like, they're doing the tit for tat business because there was absolutely no promotion for this Garner card. Like, I would be surprised if there was any media there at all. I'm pretty sure the majority of the media went over to Ireland to go cover Crocker and Donovan. But yeah, I haven't seen anything from the Queensbury card. I heard someone, who was it? There was someone, I think, in one of my groups was telling me that Carol Atama was awful, like he had a horrible performance. And then someone else, I think it was might have been Caroline Dubois, was online saying, "Oh, Carol Atama, great performance." I haven't seen it, so I can't comment. But it's just the the extreme points of view. I don't know what to what to believe at this point. It's just been one of those weekends. But talking about a card that I did see the majority of was the Crocker and Donovan card. Now, Craig Richards beat Podrick McCrory. What was it? Eighth, I think it was 8th round KO via body shot, which was good work. I think I predicted that he would win in the 7th or the 8th, so I think I got that one right. I'd have to double check, but I definitely predicted a stoppage in those later rounds. Yeah, I mean, look, Craig Richards is a level above Podrick McCrory. Is he at that top level? Is he on the world level? Is he European, fringe world? Like, that's what we got to find out ultimately in the next fight. I think he said in one of his interviews, look, it's all good being really close in these big fights, but like, I have to be winning them now to show that I'm the best and to get those world titles, because without those titles in my career, I haven't achieved what I should have, and it will be a disappointment. So yeah, I guess big fight next, or big fight after next, and we'll see exactly where the level is. Is the dream over, or is there still that fire inside to to really get to that top echelon once maybe a Bivol or a better BF decide to move on. I'm trying to think what else was on that card. Leon Woodstock was on there as well. I saw that fight a little bit, but I was actually driving home at the time. I didn't even get in really until the Richards fight. But I saw the Woodstock fight. I thought that fight, from what I was kind of seeing on the phone, sort of glancing here and there when safe to do so for anyone who's watching. Yeah, I thought that was it looked like a pretty decent fight. Yeah, I kind of again can't really say too much, but what I did see was the main event, and I did watch this. I had Lewis Crocker winning the fight by split decision. That was my prediction for the fight. Look, one thing I'm going to say, like, I knew that Paddy Donovan was supposed to be, you know, sort of this slick fight. He's got this pretty big knockout ratio and whatnot. So I thought Crocker has got that work rate eventually. Like, he's one of them ones that try to sort of get to you. Now, before we talk about how the fight ended, Crocker saying, "Oh, well, the plan was to try and take it to the second half of the fight and take it to him there." Whenever someone says that that's their plan for winning a fight, I always say you deserve to lose. Like, you should be, the goal should be to win every single round, and the rounds that you can't win, be super competitive in, just to make sure that you're either close, there's a dispute as to who won the round, or at least you're making the guy in front of you work and drain down. Not soak up as much punishment as you can in the first 6, hoping they get tired so that you could take over in the second. That's a shit game plan, ultimately. But the way the fight played out, look, Paddy Donovan was styling on Crocker. Now, Crocker is not a good boxer, like from a fundamental standpoint, from a technical standpoint. He doesn't have the biggest one bang shot. He's he ain't really got good footwork. He doesn't have great punch variety or mechanics. What he does have, though, is that he has a good engine. He's got a decent chin, and he's tough. And I think that's obviously what he's playing on. That won't do him well at the world level. Like, in terms of their actual boxing skills and fundamentals, like, Paddy Donovan is levels above. The problem, Paddy Donovan, is that he knows all the dark arts, but he hasn't perfected them yet. Because the fact that you're going in, you know that the other guy's got his head forward, but you're going in, basically you're pendulum stepping into your head clashes. Like, you're literally driving forward with your head down, under, and pushing off. Like, it's that, how many times can you get warned by the referee that your head's in close, like you're causing these clashes, to the point where you've opened up bare. The weirdest thing is, though, the referee's given points off for head clashes, yet he's saying that every single cut on the guy's face was ruled by a punch. I don't get that, especially when we saw in one of the replays. I even saw it in real time, but we saw in one of the replays, he threw an elbow at at Lewis Crocker, which opened up another cut underneath his eye. So what was that? Was that going to be classed as a punch as well? Like, Marcus McDonald, he had some tough moments in there, but he also created some issues. He created some issues for himself. But when it comes to the points being taken, I totally agree with it. I mean, ultimately, you've warned the guy about 5 or 6 times about the use of their head. Still going in, still doing the exact same things, no adaptation, no being able to change tactics or anything. So you're just getting, so now you're literally, all right, you get 1 point taken off, then you get a second point taken off. Then you get to a point, obviously, this guy's eye is basically closed. He can't see a thing. You manage to drop him. Then you get into this swinging war off the ropes. And funny enough, he actually got caught with a couple of really big shots off the ropes, and one of them staggered his legs a little bit. You kind of saw it. He was like, "Oh, okay, well, all right, this is going to be interesting." I literally thought that the fight would get called off at the end of that round anyway. They'd throw in the towel, or they get the doctor to come in. He can't even open his eye at this point. But then you get Paddy Donovan, like, again, dark arts, but doing the most stupidest of things. The bell goes, they ring the bell 3 times, ding, ding, ding. From the first time they rang it to the third time they rang it, about 2.5 seconds took place in that time. And then about three quarters to 1 second after the bell rings on the last ding, you get Paddy Donovan throwing a big right hook round the side of Lewis Crocker's guard, right on his temple, knocks him out cold onto the floor. Obviously, he manages to eventually get himself up. Can't see anything out of the eye. And even at that time, as he throws the shot, he's turning to walk away. Like, okay, I heard the ring bell, bang. All right, I'm going to go to my corner now. Referee, obviously, now at that point, jumps in, puts him in the neutral corner, and then he's like, "Look, you've already been warned several times. Look, what are you doing?" And then he just waves it. And I think at the time, Paddy Donovan must have thought, "Oh, that he had won." They waved off the fight. Because I did hear the ring announce, or the ringside uh technician, whatever, counting the 1, 2, 3 and all that stuff, and then obviously the ref just kind of waved that off. So they're like, okay, he must have thought he won. Then obviously comes to eventually find that he's been disqualified for punching after the bell, and then he's crying about it. And Tony Bellew's trying to give him a defense and everything. Oh, well, it was late, but it was only like half a second late. Like, the referee should have been closer. Now, yes, the referee should have been closer, but to say it was only half a second late after that bell, like, I don't know. Tony Bellew must be seeing these things in slow motion these days, because there is no way that is the case. And this ain't even a Tony Bellew slander thing right about now. It's kind of irrelevant in this conversation. But all of that, you get 2 points taken off already. You should be on your P's and Q's, especially if you know that this guy is basically good to go anyway. You don't need to be taking rash opportunities and rash chances. His eye was close to high heaven. If he comes out in that next round, all you have to do, pivot off to that right hand side where he can't see you, and just go to work. And you have 3 minutes to do it, rather than like trying to do it in the last 10 seconds. Because you heard the clapper for the 10 seconds. You definitely heard that final bell as well. Like, there's no way that you're gonna lie and tell anyone that you didn't hear the bell go. So it's just dirty. It was cheating, and he got punished for the cheating. It's that simple. They're talking about possible immediate rematches, but unfortunately, that was supposed to be, I think, a final eliminator for the IBF welterweight title. So if Boots Ennis decides to stay after the unification with Stanionis, I mean, Crocker can either sit on that shot, knowing that it's coming, or if Boots decides to vacate the title, then he can fight for the vacant title next. Where's the incentive for him to run it back with Paddy Donovan at this point, knowing the levels of cheat that Donovan's willing to go to get the victory? And don't get me wrong, I admire it. I actually thought the cheating and stuff was actually admirable. I just think if you're going to do it, you need to be a lot better at it. You need to refine those dark arts. Like, one of the, I guess, someone who actually perfected the way of the dark arts, if we're being honest, was like Tyson Fury. You got to be able to do that stuff outside the view of the referee. That's basically how it needs to play out. So yeah, look, while I will admit that Donovan was styling on Crocker, like he made it look like they were 2 or 3 levels away from each other in terms of everything. But just, petulant nature, maybe not quite being as seasoned as he needs to be, all of that stuff ultimately cost him the fight. And his only good grace is that it's a loss via a disqualification, as opposed to like a decision loss or a knockout loss. So he may, so it won't knock him too far back in rankings, especially, I guess, if the IBF review it, they probably won't drop him too far down the rankings based off it. But he needs to take this time to learn, and Lewis Crocker needs to take this time to thank his lucky stars that Paddy Donovan was that stupid, because otherwise he was about to get torn up. I mean, to be honest, he got beat up by what's his name, Connor Walker. Like, he got battered by Connor Walker and was gifted a decision. So at the end of the day, this maybe it's a little bit of karma for him, but he gets to keep the number 1 position. So we'll see what happens from there. I'm going to leave it there, though. I don't really have much else to say sort of on this weekend. Make sure you guys tune into Fight Talk Live. It will be taking place tonight, probably somewhere between 8:30 and 9 o'clock. It may just be myself and October Red. I know Danny Glover is actually in Ireland with Craig Richards and the team. And Maestro, he was in New York covering the Tank and Roach fight, but I don't know if he's gonna be on the stream tonight, or if he does, he might come in late. Or wait to see. But yeah, we'll be consistent across all the channels as normal. But if you're not subscribed to that channel, make sure you do, because from the end of this month, we will no longer be streaming across all the channels. All the content will just be on Fight Talk Live. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and I'll catch you on the next one. But until then, peace.